So we're going to continue our discussion of the Java Executor framework, transitioning to coverage of key interfaces that it provides. There's a lot of different interfaces, a lot of different classes, a lot of different abstract classes in the Java Executor framework, but there's some that are more important than others to get a sense of the overall architecture. So we'll take a look at the key interfaces. As you'll see here, they're Executor, Executor Service, Scheduled Executor Service, and Completion Service. And some of these interfaces are related to each other, some are not. The Executor interface is a very simple functional interface that decouples task submission from the mechanics of how each task will be run. So it basically provides a means for submitting new runnable tasks for execution by whatever implementation mechanism is used for this particular interface. Remember, interfaces in Java give you an API, but the implementation has to be connected some other way. As you can see, there's just one method called execute. It takes a runnable, kind of like a thread constructor does, and it does not return any value. And it's a functional interface because it only has one method. A much more interesting interface is called Executor Service. And this extends Executor, so of course it'll have the same execute method that Executor does. But it also defines a boatload more methods, as you can see, and these are only some of them. There's even more of them than these, that are used to manage the life cycles of tasks, as well as the life cycle of the Executor Service implementations themselves. And we'll talk a lot about all this stuff, and you'll get a chance to play around with some of these methods. There's yet a third interface called the Scheduled Executor Interface, and this extends Executor Service, which in turn extends Executor, in order to support future and/or periodic execution of tasks. So you can schedule tasks to run, you can schedule runnables to run, you can schedule callables to run, you can have them run at some time in the future, you can also schedule them to run at a fixed rate, and you can schedule them to run with a fixed delay. So this is used for various kinds of timed operations, timed tasks. And then the fourth and final key interface in the Java Executor framework is Completion Service. And this is used to decouple task invocation from the asynchronous processing of tasks and the completion of task results and the handling of completed task results. So we'll get a chance to play around with this. You'll get a chance to use that in one of the assignments. It's a really cool interface that has a very cool implementation. We'll talk a lot about that as well. So that's just a quick summary of the key interfaces in the Java Executor framework. I wouldn't expect you to be able to do much with these yet because we have to cover a lot more pieces, but this gives you the kind of the waterfront view of how the pieces fit together at a high level.